Water droplets are non-living creatures that are very acquainted with many forms of energy, which take a very crucial role in a water droplet's life. From the very beginning, when it was born from a rain cloud, it has already been introduced to potential energy as it falls down. After birth, this water droplet infant will undergo a journey to maturation, with the sea as its final destination. Maturation process happens when most, if not all, of the gravitational potential energy stored inside the water droplet's body is expended. Water droplet species tends to gather in herds, forming a group known as a river that flows downstream. Now, we will observe the lives of these water droplets in their temporary habitat called the hydroelectric power plant. Going through their journey, the river might be herded by man-made dams. Using these dams, the water level will be elevated, and these water droplets will then possess more potential energy. Here, these water droplets will fulfill their role to convert their potential energy into kinetic energy as they fall, and use it to help the humans rotate the turbines in a hydroelectric power plant. Kinetic energy captured by the turbines will be converted into electricity through a generator. It fulfilled one of its life purposes, to share energy with humans. The water droplet will continue its journey towards maturation.
Have you ever wondered how springs are utilized in daily life? Well, that is what we are going to discuss today, especially those that are used in trains. Let's zoom in. The springs of a train are located in the primary and secondary suspension and hydraulic system. These systems are embedded in the bogie frame, or also known as the cushion or main frame between the cart and the wheels. The primary function of these systems are to reduce the vibration felt by the locomotive, thus making the ride more enjoyable. Without these systems absorbing the friction and abrasion, the vibrations will resonate to the main carts. So it won't look like this, but more like. Not only that, but these systems helps to prevent derailment and support the weight of the locomotive. The primary suspension system connects the axle box to the bogie, while the secondary system connects the bogie to the cart. These systems mainly use coil and steel leaf spring designs, though sometimes air and rubber springs are also used. Transportation has come a long way since the Industrial Revolution, and springs are only a part of the ever-growing progress. But without them, transportation would certainly not be how it is today.
This section, we'll be talking about firearms and how it implements momentum and impulse in order to do its job. How does a person propel a small chunk of lead fast enough to pierce through a living being whilst maintaining safe distances? The answer is a bullet. How does a bullet work? Well, a bullet is comprised of a few parts: a primer and some propellant, commonly gunpowder, which is held together inside a metallic casing, and the projectile itself. First, a force is applied on the primer of a bullet, which is usually located here, on the back of a bullet. The force applied will allow the primer to cause a spark, which lights up the gunpowder inside the casing and causing an explosion. The explosion, caused by this chain of actions, will apply an impulse on the projectile, which will propel it with enough momentum to pierce through material like flesh, wood, and metal in some ammunitions. The problem is now, of course, how to fire the bullet reliably so that it can be aimed. The answer is a gun. A gun is built to specifically hold a bullet in place. allowing the shooter to aim and fire with a single click. After the gun is cocked and its safety turned off, pressing the trigger will release the hammer latch and allow it to strike the bullet's primer with a pin. On top of that, in semi-automatic and full automatic weapons, the impulse will also push the slide of a gun back, which will dechamber the empty shell and chamber in a new round when it slides back to position. All of this, however, has a drawback. The impulse caused by the firing process will also transfer to the person which pulled the trigger, causing a kickback on the gun and destabilization on the wielder's aim depending on the amount of momentum caused by the bullet and the fire rate on a full automatic weapons. This process is called recoil. In short, impulse helps a bullet to fly out of the barrel and a gun to rechamber, whilst causing recoil on the way.
Teacher, what's that thing?
Huh? Hang on, let me see. Ah, it's satellites.
Oh, so unique, man. How does it flows around?
Do you know the concept of gravity?
Of course not, teacher.
Okay, listen carefully. Gravity is the force by which a body draws object towards its center.
So everything attracts each other?
Yes, you're right.
But doesn't that mean the satellites will fall to the earth?
Well, yes, but no. Satellites are able to orbit around the planet because they are locked into speeds that are fast enough to defeat the downward pull of gravity. Satellites are sent into space by a rocket launched from the ground with enough energy to get outside Earth's atmosphere. Once the rocket reaches its determined location, it drops the satellites into its orbit. The initial speed of the satellite maintained as it detaches from the launch vehicle is enough to keep a satellite on orbit for a few decades.
Wow, the teacher is so smart.
So let's move on to the next topic.
Teacher, who is that?
It seems that the teacher won't be able to teach anymore, so I'll be replacing him. And because time's running out, we'll be starting on a new topic now.
Wait! I haven't finished taking my notes yet.
Okay, I'll give you 5 minutes.
A few moments later.
Are you done yet?
No, not yet.
Well, we'll be starting anyway.
Wait, teacher, wait!
So, now we'll be learning about camera lenses.
Teacher, wait!
Camera lenses contains many lenses which is used to focus the light or make the image larger. In principle, it exploits one of the light's properties, which is that light bends when passing through objects of different densities.
Teacher, wait.
Alright, I'll prepare your notes later.
Yay, thank you, Teach. So, you're saying that light will bend when I see a rock at the bottom of the pond?
Exactly. But we don't use water to bend light, but we use glass in the camera lens instead. If we shape glass like this, or what we call convex shape, light will be bent so it will be focused at a certain point. This point is what we call the focal point.
So, Teach, wouldn't it be enough just to use one lens?
In an ideal world it is. In actuality, light itself would split into several colors, making the image's colors bleed out. Other than that, the actual lights focused by one lens wouldn't converge into a single point. To fix this, we can combine it with different lenses to correct the light and produce the best image possible. Another point to take is that by changing the distance between the lenses, you can increase or decrease the magnification of the object you want to take picture of. I forgot to tell you that tomorrow we'll have a test. Bye!
Teach, no!